Hey everyone, we just hit 10 a.m. PST, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I think we're probably expecting a few more people, but I'm sure some stragglers will show up. So yeah, thanks y'all for attending today. And this webinar, we're going to dive into some of the new and advanced features in the Hive platform, and super excited to show this all to you and show you how some of these more advanced features and functionality can help you drive more ticket sales in your Hive account. So great to meet you all. My name is Joel McDonald. I'm one of the senior partnership managers here at Hive. I also have my colleague Christiana in the webinar as well. She'll be kind of answering any questions that come through. Unless they're too complex and need some product showing, then we can save them for the end. But she's also here to answer some questions. There may also be some SeeTickets people, I believe. Oh yeah, I see Rebecca. So if any questions come through that are more SeeTicket specific, she'll also be on hand to help out in the chat. I also always like to point out that if you ever do need any help with Hive, we have a really awesome support team, so you can always reach out to them. Support@hive.co is the best way to go if you need quick help and have any questions. But yeah, let's jump right into it. So what's on tap today? So here's our packed agenda. So we're going to be diving into a quick run through of the typical integration features that Hive and SeeTickets have, just to kind of set the bar and table stakes so everyone kind of understands how the integration works together. After that, we're going to jump into the pre-sale and mastering pre-sale section. So we're going to be looking at the new tools that we launched for pre-sale registrations and just show you how that can be used to drive pre-sale tickets. After that, we're going to jump into some automations. So I have 3 really easy automations that you can run and do. So we're going to jump through those, basically your low-hanging fruit. After that, we're going to talk about SMS. So the one thing we'll be showing today is basically how you can build an SMS list and also why SMS is becoming so important in the kind of email SMS marketing world. And then at the end, we're going to tie it all together with a recent customer story that Hive put out. So we're going to show you how kind of some of these elements can all get put together to basically help drive ticket sales. Cool. So let's jump right into it. Now, I'm actually going to turn off my video. We are recording this, and I don't want my video to be blocking anything essential in the recording. So I'm going to turn off my video, and we're just going to dive right into this deck and also jump into the app a little bit. Cool. So I'm curious right now, just everyone, we have that kind of digital raise hand functionality. So we're going to quickly run into the Hive and SeeTickets integration features. I'm curious, who here on the call has never touched Hive before and has never used it? Any hands at all? I'm seeing no hands. Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, then I'll try to make sure we get through this fairly quick. So your basic, what is Hive? Basically, we're a go-to marketing platform that's specific for event marketers. We really give people the ability to easily and quickly create email, SMS, automation campaigns, and it's all fueled and built by your ticketing data. Here's what we typically have. If you've ever used Hive before with the ticketing integration, you should know all about this. Your events are pulled into the platform, so you're able to see all your upcoming events. We also are pulling in ticket buyers and their information into the platform, so we can see what ticket they purchased, how they're engaged with your email or SMS campaigns. And we can also segment those people, put them into segments based off a whole bunch of different filters. And speaking of those filters, these are some of the ones that you get when you have event data going into Hive. So we can see past purchase data, the event tags, venues, artists, ticket tier. You can use all that great data to filter your contacts, create segments, or send really targeted email and SMS campaigns. We have revenue attribution, which is awesome. It's a big challenge for marketers to be able to prove their worth and show that their marketing efforts are driving significant dollar value. So whenever someone purchases a ticket, if I opened a Hive email and went and bought a ticket, that ticket buyer information and that revenue data is pushed back into Hive, and we're able to attribute that back to that email or SMS campaign. So it's really easy to kind of prove how much your email and SMS campaigns are driving revenue for the business. And then we have the ability to really easily build emails in Hive because you can use our event blocks. It's super easy to add your event details. It pulls in automatically your image, your title, the venue, the time. And yeah, all that stuff is super time saving, super great. And that's the integration feature section. So just because everyone here sounds like is pretty well versed in Hive, I'm not going to linger on this too much. If you have any questions, there's a Q&A section within the Zoom. You can always drop them in there. Happy to dig into any of this. But let's get into some more advanced and interesting stuff like mastering pre-sale campaigns. So pre-sales right now, they're super timely. We all know all the Taylor Swift drama that happened this year. Apparently, tickets to the Toronto show were up in Canada. The tickets there are being resold for like tens of thousands of dollars, which is bonkers. I'm curious to know, showing again digital hands, who here is running pre-sales currently? Who here actually runs pre-sales for their events? I see a hand. I see two hands. Oh, I'm so happy. I was like, I wonder if the hand functionality even works. Thank you. Three, back down to two. Cool. So yeah, I mean, pre-sales are becoming such a big thing in the industry. And what we've basically launched is the ability to run pre-sale registration pages. So allowing people to register to know when the pre-sale starts. And it's a really great way to build hype for your event. It's a great way to increase ticket sales, improve your event experience, and strengthen your audience engagement. Those pre-sale people who are signing up for a pre-sale registration are going to be such valuable, loyal customers to you, and knowing exactly who those people are, let alone the tickets that they're going to purchase, but being able to capture that segment of your ticket buying base is super important because those are great people that then you can send them really targeted campaigns afterwards. So why do you want to run pre-sale registrations? One, it's an easy way to drive those early ticket sales and get your pre-sale going as soon as it launches. It's a good way to anticipate the demand for your tickets. It's a great way to build hype for your shows and just have tools that you're able to market out to the world and let them know, hey, not only is there a pre-sale, there's a pre-sale registration, and just really getting people excited. It's also, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later, a great way to build out an SMS list. So as people are signing up for the pre-sale registration, you can ask them for phone number and consent, and then you're able to send them SMS messages. And like I mentioned before, it's a really good way to identify high intent segments who want to purchase tickets right away off you all. So what is a pre-sale registration? What have we built and what's in the platform? It's basically a feature that lets you build a registration landing page to collect signups. Then it automatically builds an automation to update your fans and let them know that they're on the list, and basically letting them know when the pre-sale is live. So I actually want to kind of demo this, and we're going to jump right into the app. Just do things live. So this is what you're going to see now in Hive when you go to the collections section of our platform. There's pre-sales now. And from here, we can go and create a new pre-sale registration. We can select an event, so it's going to automatically pull events that are available via the SeeTickets API connection. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab any event here. So let's go this dance party one. Now you need to let us know where you want people to be driven to when the presale launches. So you need a URL for your presale. So we'll say hive.co/presale. This is just a dummy URL I'm going to put in. If you have a presale access code, you can drop it in here. And then we need to know when the presale tickets are actually going to go on sale. So let's say our presale is starting on September 1st and it's going to the 9th. And this is the start time in PST. Let's move on to the next step, which is building out the actual registration page and the details there. So that image didn't upload from my integration, but that's okay. Essentially, we're going to have a title here as well as a description. That's pulled in automatically through the integration. We can go and upload an image. So I'm going to do that right now. This is why it's great when you do things live. I'm just going to throw in the Hive logo here. But typically your actual event, your event photo, the same one that comes in through the event blocks, would be pulled in through here. You can go ahead and change a little bit of the design. We can change the button text if we want to. And then down here, we set when we want this pre-sale registration to start and end. So we're going to say today, let's put it at 9 a.m. just so that we'll be able to actually see this. And then we also set when we want the registration to end. Let's go ahead and save and continue. And the next step that's going to bring us to is the automated messaging. So we have an automated message template that's built with every pre-sale. The way this works is when someone registers, they're brought into this automation. We check to see if they're opted into SMS or not. If they are opted in, then the majority of the messages that get sent to them are SMS messages. So we're basically confirming that they signed up, letting them know about the reminder an hour before the pre-sale. Then 5 minutes before, we send them an SMS that lets them know it's live, and also an email. And if they don't have SMS consent, then we go over to the no track, and then it's all sent exactly the same through emails. Now, all of this is editable, so we can go ahead and change any of these messages, any of these emails. So top to bottom, this can be completely edited and changed if you want to, but this is just something that we put in just to make it super simple. I'm gonna go save and publish. And then this is essentially where we're able to get the share link for the registration. So we have the live link that we can take if we want to here. I'm just going to go view a new tab. Should open up. And this is basically what we have. So register for the pre-sale access. If I click on this button, I'm already a contact within this Hive account, so it's going to just automatically register me. I don't have to put in any information. I don't have to fill out a form. If I wasn't a contact in the Hive account, then I actually would get a form here to fill out asking for first name, last name, email, phone number, and a consent for SMS checkbox. And yeah, and then as it goes, we're able to see a traffic report on it. We can also view signups, and then all of these contacts will also be put into a segment. So you can segment by anyone who's signed up for this pre-sale registration for this specific pre-sale. Cool. So that's the demo of what's coming out. It's actually just been launched, I believe it was the end of the day yesterday. So it's live within every Hive account now. So feel free to jump in and play around with it. And yeah, and we'll move on to our next agenda item, which is automations. So automations, they're a really powerful revenue driver in Hive. And I'm curious to know, people on the call right now, how many people here have actually built an automation in Hive before? Do digital hands again. I got one. Cool. Well, this is great because I'm going to show you some really simple automations that you can do within our platform. So first question is, why should we actually automate? Why is this important, Joel? Well, leveraging automations is really powerful in your email strategy. It's essentially a way to send emails to customers automatically at the right moment. And you can kind of make it so that it's typically going to be at the right time so that they're going to open that email up. Oh, someone's don't know how to digital hand. Oh, that's okay. I like to think of automations as kind of a set it and forget it revenue driver. You can basically put a couple of hours work into this, and then you just let it do its thing. And it's just going to slowly drive you consistent business. It's also going to drive engagement with your contact list, which is really important to ensure that your email deliverability score is doing well. So yeah, it's super, super important. And here are some of the ones that we can basically run and get set up pretty easily. So number one would be welcoming new ticket buyers. So you can include so much stuff in a welcome email. It's a really opportune time to reach out to people because that their intent is so high. They've just made a purchase. They're excited and happy. And when you send them an email at that point, they're like, oh, cool. And this also helps your deliverability score because people open welcome emails quite a bit. It's a great way to also share promotional information or get contacts to complete a specific ask. And that's a little teaser for when we talk about SMS opt-in list building. It's a really easy way to build out an SMS list too, is including an opt-in button in your welcome emails. Two is win-back automation. So getting new customers is a lot more expensive than retaining your current customers. And if your contacts in Hive aren't opening your emails, you can set up basically an automation to send them some kind of enticing offer and essentially try to win them back to engaging with your content. So I'll show you how those work as well. And then very last is abandoned cart. So every SeeTickets Hive customer has an abandoned cart automation running. It's something that we set up automatically for all new customers. But did you actually know that you can customize them and put them on brand and make them more yours? So it's a real no-brainer to brand these abandoned cart automations to make them more effective. So again, we're going to jump into the app and do some demoing and see if everything works. So I'm going to jump over first to the abandoned cart automation, the SeeTickets one, because this one is pretty straightforward and fairly simple. If you have a SeeTickets Hive account and you go to the automations, you should see an option there for SeeTickets cart abandonment. I'm actually going to show you just how to get to this really quickly. So if I go and click on this, it's going to bring me to the steps reporting for the SeeTickets cart abandonment. And if I want to edit anything in this automation, there's just this edit automation button here. And that's going to take me back over to the automation flow that we were looking at before. Just give this a few seconds. There we go. So this is how the abandoned cart works. It waits an hour, it sends an email, then we wait a day, sends another email, then it waits 3 days and sends the last one. Now, you can click on any of these emails. It's going to bring up the template that you'll see. I'll just give it a couple more seconds. So this is the template that just comes out of the box. And you can go and edit this template, and you can completely change it in any way that you want. If we go into the edit here, okay, I'm gonna give this a second. This is the fun part of doing things live. So, I mean, SeeTickets has a really cool logo for sure, but also your event or your venue's logo or your festival's logo can also be put here, as well as the coloring here. So everything is kind of this specific blue. Again, we can completely customize this. The messaging here, we can be more specific if it's something like a festival. So all of this can essentially be changed. Don't be scared by these. They're basically just merge tags that are going to automatically show the detail of the ticket that the person abandoned. But yeah, definitely jumping in here and editing these is a good way to see if it can improve your abandoned cart email performance. Now, the other automation that I mentioned that's fairly straightforward is the win-back automations. Now, if we go to automations and we go new automation, the reason the win-back is pretty simple to do is because we actually have a set template for this. If you just go email engagement win-back, it's going to propagate an automation flow. And there's just a few steps you have to take to basically set it up. So anything that's in orange here are things that we just have to set up and change. So first of all, enter segment. This is the one step that you need to know, is if we go invalid subscribers, those are the people in your Hive account that haven't opened your last 10 emails. We automatically bucket those people into a segment called invalid subscribers. We can go ahead and save that trigger. We don't need any global rules, so we can say continue. And then everything else here is kind of set. It's going to wait 1 day after they hit that invalid subscriber segment, and then it's going to send them an email that says, we miss you. Now, just like your abandoned cart automation, we can completely customize this email. And I definitely would recommend doing that because there's actually some of the content in this template is directions, like end user directions, like this note, link the button below to your site. You don't want people to see that. But yeah, so we can completely customize this. You can decide where you're going to send people on this button. So keep me on the list. That's kind of cool. I guess you could send them then to maybe your upcoming shows, or we could say something like see upcoming shows. And the one thing I wanted to kind of show, because I was demoing this earlier and practicing, is we actually have like this smart AI functionality now within our builder. So we can say, let's see what other suggestions it has for that button text. Check out events, discover live entertainment. Ooh, and then you can change it over to say luxury. And then it will give you attend exclusive events, view luxurious performances. Anyway, just in case you didn't know, we have a bunch of smart functionality in here now. But yeah, so definitely recommend changing up this email, making it specific to you, throwing some kind of enticing offer in here, and winning back those customers. Now, the other automation I mentioned was doing something like building a first-time ticket buyer automation, which is one that you would have to kind of actually build from scratch, but it's pretty straightforward. So I thought I would just run through it. So if we go build your own, and building an automation from scratch is also a nice little practice to do. So we're going to call it ticket buyer first time. And there's a few things we have to set up. So first, we're going to go to the entry trigger. This is where we can decide what's going to actually make someone enter any automation that we build out. And what we want is the events. So we can say completed ticketing order. And then we're also going to add a global rule. And we're going to go to first ticketing order ever. Save that. Continue. And now we set this up so that whenever someone makes their first ever ticketing order through the SeeTickets integration, we can now send them whatever we want. So if we hit this little add button, first thing we could do is we could add a time delay and say, okay, well, we're going to wait a few hours because we don't immediately want to send this to them. And then after that, we're going to say, okay, now let's send them an email. And then from here, we can build out exactly kind of like our email campaign builder, just all the details of the email that we're going to send. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward to build out these automations. Definitely something worth doing. Again, it's a great set it and forget it kind of revenue driver that builds engagement with your audience and also can help drive ticket sales. So let's move to our next agenda item, unlocking the potential of SMS. So SMS, is it a necessary evil? Not really in our opinion. Customers who use SMS are actually seeing really massive ticket sale gains. And there's a lot of potential here. So I'm curious to know, is anyone on the call currently using SMS as a marketing tool? Do we have any hands, digital hands, SMS marketing? I see some claps. That's good. Thank you, John. Well, let's talk about it. Why should you be using SMS? So SMS is a pretty powerful channel for reaching subscribers. Right now, email inboxes are getting a little bit crowded, and phones are sending push notifications on text messages. So we've seen just amazing open rates with SMS, almost about 90%. And also that SMS campaigns have a 7 times higher conversion rate and generate 6.5 times more revenue per message sent compared to email. So just really great hyper-targeted SMS messages are super powerful as a way to drive ticket sales. So let's talk about how we can build out an SMS list. So tip number 1, and this is kind of a callback to what we were talking about in the last agenda item, is ask for opt-in after purchase. So when someone buys a ticket, we can set up a ticket buyer automation that will then ask them to join the SMS list, and adding some kind of incentives, letting them know that it's exclusive, that there's promos that come with SMS, day of the event exclusives that we're going to send. Stuff like that can really help drive people to join SMS lists. Next is mailing list forms. So Hive has mailing list forms, in case y'all didn't know, and you can add phone number fields and SMS consent checkboxes to them. So adding a phone number field will really be an effective way. If you don't have that on your mailing list and you're not using Hive as your mailing list form, then I would definitely suggest looking into it. Otherwise, you're really missing out on this opportunity to build out an SMS list. Next is, and this is a callback to a previous agenda item, is leveraging your event pre-sales. So using stuff like event pre-sale registration pages, that's going to allow you to collect SMS check consent, and as well as other tools in Hive. We also have contests. So we have people who run VIP ticket contests, and that's almost exactly the same as a pre-sale registration, where it's a landing page that they sign up for that contest, and at that point you ask them for SMS check-in or opt-in. So yeah, it's really another way to just build out your SMS. Or you can also make it so people actually text you to subscribe. So there is a way in Hive to set up SMS autoresponder automations. So once you have your SMS set up in Hive and you have your phone number, you can then make it so that if people text a certain word to that phone number, then they're basically opted in into your SMS. I actually wanted to show this one because it's another one that's actually built as a automation template. So back again in our automations, if we go to new automation, and we have one here, which is keyword SMS auto response. So as I click on this, it's going to, again, just pre-fill the automation steps. So from here, we can change what the keyword would be. So we could say something like VIP. We actually don't need any global rules, so we can say continue. And then we can customize the SMS that gets sent back to them. So this is where we can include a link that goes to maybe some kind of promo or something along those lines. But yeah, again, super quick, easy automation to set up. This is something that you could, put throughout the venue, on posters, on signs, share it on socials. Yeah, tons of opportunity here. Cool. So now we're into the home stretch. I'm going to jump into a little bit of a quick customer story here, and then we'll have some time set aside for Q&A. I know that we're about 4 minutes to the half-hour mark, so that should be good. We'll probably have about 10 or 15 minutes, and then, yeah, can go from there. So Hive actually put out recently a customer story about a customer called Halloween. So quick note, this is not a SeeTickets customer, but still really cool to see. And they are essentially using a lot of the tools that we talked about today. So they're able to leverage SMS marketing for basically doing a successful pre-sale. Halloween, it's an annual music festival in Florida. They have 20,000 attendees, a pretty diverse lineup of different types of music, electronic, indie, rock, hip hop, EDM, all that kind of stuff. Sounds like a pretty eclectic mix. And the problem was basically trying to ensure that people were noticing their pre-sale. So again, we're talking about inboxes are getting busy and crazy, and how do you stand out for people? How do you get their attention? So especially around a time like Christmas. So sending an SMS message was essential for them to drive a feeling of urgency for the pre-sale. These were the two pre-sale texts that they sent out. So pretty basic, fairly straightforward. Just like it's time, pre-sale's happening. Here's the link. And then they actually sent a second one a few days later to any people who didn't purchase a ticket, which is also a really easy thing to do in Hive. So yeah. And yeah, it was, as the quote here says, our SMS tool is really straightforward to use. It's really easy to kind of like slice up your data, send in a follow-up SMS to people who haven't purchased a ticket. Super straightforward and easy to do. And the amount of revenue that they saw from just 2 text messages was about 120K in ticketing revenue based off those 2 campaigns. And again, that's really cool that in Hive, we're able to see that data. It's really easy to attribute back the revenue and ticket purchases that we're seeing from SMS. So yeah, it's a really awesome story. If you want to read more about it, it's on our case studies on our website. So yeah, maybe I'll throw that in the chat later. Okay, so conclusions. What did we go over today, and how does this all work together? So number one, ensure that you're taking advantage of the integration features that you have in Hive, leveraging your contacts and the data that we get from SeeTickets to send hyper-specific messages and drive ticket sales is essential for sure. Number two, so pre-sale registrations. They're awesome at driving customers, great at driving hype for your events, and also a really good revenue driver as well. Three, so Hive, we have a bunch of low-hanging automations that you can leverage and use, and a lot of them are fairly straightforward to set up. Can take a little bit of a day, but you can get them done, get them out there, and then let them start making you money. Four, SMS is becoming an essential part of the marketing landscape. Building out your SMS list and seeing the benefits of having a well-worked SMS list is essential. And then last, with the customer story, just combining all of these different tools together is a really easy way to drive good ticketing revenue. Cool. That's a wrap on all the content I wanted to show. We have time for Q&A, like I mentioned. I'm going to take like a 1-minute water break just to get my throat back in shape here. And yeah, if anyone has any questions right now, feel free to throw them into the Q&A and we can dive in. Okay. So my throat feels better. I'm back. I see Mary Margaret. Hey, Mary Margaret. Threw in a question just asking about creative use of automations. I definitely think the first time I saw someone doing the SMS opt-in for any ticket buyer was really kind of mind-blowing and really cool. I mean, one of the things is we don't get SMS opt-in by default through a lot of our integrations. So you kind of have to get creative in ways to get that. And you can set it up. So you could set up an automation where anytime someone buys a ticket, if they're not SMS opt-in, you could send them an email, an automation that says, hey, sign up for an SMS. And then you could set up a delay so that they won't get that email again for maybe another 120 days. So you're not sending them that message every time they purchase a ticket, maybe just at certain intervals. And then actually our pre-sale registration, that whole functionality, one of the things that inspired us was a customer that had set up just this massive automation that was essentially doing the same thing. And we kind of realized like, well, we can set this up for people and create a really easy template and a really easy way to do it. So yeah, mostly through that pre-sale and also just SMS opt-ins are the two most creative ways I've seen it. Jack had a question here. Unsubscribes on SMS message, will they also be unsubscribed from emails? So there is a way for them to specify if they want to be unsubscribed from one or the other. So in Hive, every customer, every contact in your account has like their preference center where they can set up or specify what they want to opt in for. And then also with SMS, if they SMS back stop, like the message to stop getting SMS messages, that won't affect their email opt-in status. Cool, cool. Well, I don't see any more questions coming through, so that's perfectly fine. Good to give everyone some time back. I know we had the hour, but that's okay. So yeah, just as an outro, I'd say thank you all for joining us. It was great to get a bunch of people register for this and check it out. I hope you all have a chance to dive into some of this functionality. We mentioned this at the top, but we are recording this and we'll send it out as a follow-up to everyone who registered for the webinar. And yeah, it was great showing this off to all you all. And have a great, what day is it? Wednesday, and a great rest of your week. Bye.